Om Shanti. Om Shanti. Good evening. And so today our topic is the science behind affirmations. So, what is an affirmation? First of all, right? We have heard this word. So, affirmation is a positive statement, a short statement, and a statement about the self. Quite often, everyone actually seeks to have a positive self view. We want to be seen as positive in public. We want to feel that we are positive. And what do we do for that? We go out in the world to seek that positive self view, whether on social media. If somebody likes my post and that coincides with a positive self view, if somebody praises me, it is perceived by me as a positive self view, or any particular success is also viewed by me as a positive self view, that I was able to do this, I was able to achieve this. But in life, so many times opposite things happen. Someone may disrespect me, a failure might come, and so at those times my view or my beliefs or my feelings about myself can change. And sometimes they change in a way that they change for a long period of time. I start to see myself as that. And in that, self affirmation has a very, very positive role. Now, self affirmation, these affirmations are short. And when we see what benefits do they bring, is they treat our stress, they improve our well-being, overall well-being, not just physical, but also mental, emotional. They also change our perception, right? When we are faced with a problem, what happens? Have you ever seen a magnifying glass? We put a magnifying glass on some script and it makes it so big. That's what we do to our problems. We think about it all day, we talk about it all day, and we magnify those. And so we look at those problems from all different aspects and we say, this is huge. And when we use self affirmations, what happens is we are replacing those thoughts with very positive thoughts about the self. And so our perspective broadens. And what happens when our perspective broadens? The same problems now seem smaller, and we can also see it from a different perspective. So not only about my view about myself, affirmations changes my view about situations. Then affirmations, what they do is they will change my confidence. They'll increase my confidence, like we talked about it. There has been several studies that are out there on affirmations. And one of those studies, what I'll just mention one or a few, and in one of those studies, they invited participants and they divided them into two groups. One group, okay, they said, you're going to use the affirmations, and they didn't tell the other group exactly what was happening, and they didn't mention, they just said, okay, pick the values that you like. They told the first group also pick the values, and from these values they asked them to use affirmations. Then they took the MRI on the first, like when they started the study, MRIs for all the students. And then what happened, at the end of the session every week, they gave a tip that you should exercise more, just a random tip. And what happened after a month, what was observed? That the participants who used affirmations, they had different areas of the brain that were lightning. And which brain areas were there? These brain areas were the ones that deal with self-processing and valuation, which was not happening with the other group. Also, the areas of reward system. By self-affirmation, we we stimulate our reward system. When is a reward system stimulated? When we get something good and we want to do it even more, right? Casinos work on reward system basis, that we get something and we want to do more. And so does affirmation work on the same areas, because when we use it, we're not going outside in the world, we are just using our own thoughts, and it improves our reward system. Now, after 1 month, they also saw that the students or the participants that used affirmation, they exercised more. Now, exercise was not a part of self-affirmation. That was just a tip shown in the every week at the end of the session. And so why would they exercise more? So there was an actual physical behavioral change in those people who use self-affirmation. You know, self-affirmation also works on the same circuits where our futuristic goals work with. And because self-affirmation, even though we use the affirmation as a present tense, that I am this, I am worthy, I am kind, I am powerful, I am fortunate, all these affirmations are used in the present tense. But they highlight the areas, the reward system or the circuits in the brain that deal with the future or the visualization process. So they help with the future oriented goals, and that is why they help with academic performances. That's why students perform better when they use affirmations. Now, there is a story, and I'll share that story. There was one time a little boy, and he was told, he was given a seed, and he was told to go and sow the seed. He did that, and he was told to water the seed every day. He watered every day, and he saw the neighbors also did the same thing. They had a little tiny plant that came out, but his seed, nothing came out. So he kept doing it, that okay, I will still do it. My teacher said that. Still nothing happened after a month. So he went back to the teacher that the seed is faulty because there's nothing happening. So the teacher said, no, you continue to go and water. He continued that. So after 6 months, nothing happened. After a year, nothing happened. And then there was a little plant next door, and he has nothing. He went back to the teacher. It's been a year. Nothing has happened. 2 years went by. He kept watering. 3 years went by. He kept watering. And at the end of 4 years, a bamboo tree grew 60 to 90 feet tall in a few weeks. So what does a bamboo tree do? For the first 4 years, it just spreads its roots. So even though on an outside level, it looks like nothing is happening, well, it's a failure, but within, underneath, it's spreading its roots. So if things are not visible outside as success or as an instant change, if as long as I am working on the right base, right foundation, it grows. And what it means is not to give up as long as I have the right method. So how to use an affirmation? Now we know, okay, there is a science behind affirmation. In affirmations, it is also shown that when we write an affirmation, we can either write it or we could either speak it. Some people prefer speaking it, but studies have shown writing has a better effect. Writing an affirmation. Now, how many times? We could pick how many times we want to write an affirmation. But there's another thing. When we write, okay, we could write 20 times, we could write 30 times, we could write 100 times every day. So it has to be a daily practice. Another method is to use the affirmation in an action. Now, what is to use an affirmation in an action? Now, I wrote it. So, writing, I have to sit and give 10 minutes, 15 minutes to write it. But when I use an affirmation while doing an action, one, I'm not taking any separate time out. So, I can do it in my routine. And two, it is bringing a change in my action because I am using it throughout my action. So, action plus my feeling. So, I'm giving it a feeling as well. So, action plus feeling gives me an experience. Now, sometimes one may say that when I use, say, suppose I use an affirmation that I am a successful being. But what happens is I see, oh, I did this and I did wrong, nothing happened. Or I have past failures that I feel like, oh, look at that. Or I look at my bank account and I see that doesn't look good like a successful being. So, what do? So, when I use an affirmation, anything that is opposite of the belief of that affirmation is a threat to that affirmation, right? Now, the threat could be a big one or a threat could be a small one. And the threat could be a thing of my own mind and a threat could be from outside. But it is challenging the belief that goes with the affirmation. Say, suppose I take an affirmation that I am a powerful being. Now I go to work and I'm scared of something. I feel, oh my God, I'm always scared. I get anxious when I do that. So it's a threat to my belief. So what do I do in that case? Threat is always going to be there because I'm trying to work on changing my belief about my own self, right? I'm changing it. So one way of doing it is having small wins. So use this affirmation in smaller threats first, rather than using it when I'm going through a big anxiety challenge. Use it in smaller wins. So where I feel this way, I'm able to win it. And keep doing as a repetitive feeling to win over these situations. So it's an affirmation in action, like we talked. Then another method is, I would give an example, Dadi Janki. So Dadi Janki is one of the senior Raj Yogis with Brahma Kumaris. And what happened, her height was short. But compared to her height, her face was big. So when she was younger, of course, she didn't like that. She thought that my head is bigger. And sometimes certain physical attributes we cannot do much about, right? And so she went to the founder of Brahma Kumaris, Brahma Baba, and she said that I don't like my head. It's big. And Brahma Baba told her that it's big, but it has a lot of wisdom. So even though he didn't change the size of the head, but he attached a positive value to something that she did not like. And that made that value, so now something she didn't like about, now she loves it, right? There was another sister, she didn't like her hands. She thought, oh, my hands are not feminine, they're very small. And then someone told that sister, well, they are small, but they're like a baby's hands, right? They're cute. So then she felt, okay, yeah, it's cute, it's unique. So in the same way, if I feel I have something that I really cannot change in my life, but it's something there, it's not a value, but something that is there that cannot be changed. I can link it to something positive. I can link it to a feeling that this itself, whatever that block is going to bring a very, very positive change in my life and other people's life. So by doing that, and I can be creative in that, by doing that, I'm able to use that, something that was really, I didn't want it, in a way, it is very positive. And that's what people do in challenges, right? The challenges change us the most, hmm, if we work towards the positivity. So it will seem that it's not working initially, but when I use it, when I get small wins, when I use it persistently, I use it in the present tense and I use it in a repetitive manner. If we use an affirmation correctly, you know how soon can we see the results in our practical life? As soon as a week. So we don't need 4 years, but as soon as a week we are able to see the results, and it's from a practical experience. What did Muhammad Ali do? When he started using the affirmation that I am the greatest, people laughed at him. Nobody believed him. And then he kept using that. He kept saying that. Of course, when we use an affirmation, it brings a physical change, behavioral change. Because if I'm using it, I will do something about it. And that's how the brain circuit, those participants, they were all sedentary. None of them exercised before the study. And the half of them, the ones that used affirmation, started exercising. They weren't told to exercise, they were just told that exercise is good. And because of using affirmations, they brought a physical change in their life. So affirmations work like wonder. But if I tell you just having affirmations can work, yes, it can work 100%. It can improve academic performance. It improves my faith in myself. So it improves my confidence. It does change my life. But there is another factor that if I don't tell that, I would feel that I'm not giving the full secret. And that is meditation. In meditation, we experience the thoughts slow down. We connect to the higher power. And with that connection, something higher than us, something bigger than us. So when we connect, that power changes, brings about a transformation within the being. And that change is not comparable to anything else. But again, it comes with a practice. But when we learn meditation, it becomes easier. And so we talked about how to use an affirmation. We talked about what are the benefits of affirmations. And we saw how science has proven multiple times that how these affirmations work and light up different areas of our brain. Now, what affirmations to use? Now, the question really is, what affirmation do I use? What is right for me? If I feel I need success, I am a successful being. Now, if I feel I want more money, that I want to be rich, right? So if I use that I am a rich being so it's connected to a being rather than a person. Why connect to a being? Because the potential is of the being. The physical personality, the person is an outwardly figure, but who is actually doing the work, who is actually creating the thought, is the being, the life within the body. So when we use it with the being, it creates a better effect on the affirmation. So if I feel anxious at work, if I feel overwhelmed, if I feel it's too much for me, it's too busy, if I use I am a peaceful, I am a loveful soul or a being, it's not going to work, because what I need is power. And I'm using another affirmation. So what affirmation would I use? I am a powerful being. If I'm too worried about the future events, I am a powerful being. If I feel wherever I go, nothing happens, I am a fortunate being. If I'm too critical of myself, I love myself. I am a loveful being. I accept myself as is. So, all these affirmations based on what I feel, what I see is a pattern in my behavior. I use that affirmation. And I use it not during my biggest threat. I use it at night when I write it a few times every day, and I use it during the day in ordinary actions. See, when we do it in an ordinary action, that action is not ordinary anymore. Have you seen that experiment when two people are standing, two or three people, and they're asked to, give a pen or just to give a pen to each other? They do it very ordinarily. Here, you go, take it. But then they're asked to do it lovingly. And they give it with a smile and they look at each other, and the action is also very slow. So, what happened? Only an emotion changed in the background, and a physical change is noticed. The physical action becomes special. And so that is why when I bring the awareness, the affirmation in my physical action, 100% my action will be different, and the result of the action will also be different because the intent has changed. The intention of that action has changed. And so I practice it through, and I don't need special time when I practice it throughout the day because I'm practicing it in an action. Simple actions. Climbing up the stairs, while driving, right? While picking up my bag. I just have to remember that a few times I need to practice this. Okay, so we will start with meditation, and afterwards we'll take questions. Om Shanti. I am a worthy being. I value myself. I know I have been gifted with many qualities, and these qualities, when used in actions, can create very elevated actions where I benefit myself and others. The seed of action is a thought. And the basis of a thought is the intent. I hold a pure and positive intention towards myself. I am a powerful being. This power allows me to face situations discern my decisions and to act in the best possible way. I, the being, trust myself. By keeping a pure intent, by matching my actions with my intent, this trust grows within me. I am an elevated being. I keep pure and positive feelings towards myself. I understand that there has been some past events, some critical judgment, but I overcome those by knowing this truth, that I am a pure and elevated being. Here for a purpose. Without me, the jigsaw puzzle won't be complete. I am such a valued part of this big game. So I pay special attention to my thoughts. And my feelings. Physical outcomes may look deceiving at times. People's opinions are also false at times. I choose to keep this positive self-view that I, the being, am a pure and elevated being. The actions performed by pure and elevated beings contain a pure intent, a clean intent, a generous intent towards the self and others. I hold this true respect for myself. I don't need any respect from the world. this genuine respect for my own self. When I see others through this self-respect, I'm able to have compassion for others. When their behavior is ill, I, the being, am a powerful being. I have the power to face the challenges in my life. They have come to teach me the most important lesson, which I would have otherwise never would have learned. I love challenges. They bring me closer to my own self and my eternal parent. My parent, the supreme, the source of wisdom, the source of power, source of unconditional love. In front of this love, the love of human beings feels very less. This unconditional love feels like nothing else matters. I feel so fortunate to have received this love. My eternal parent is the source of power. And every time I connect, my power increases. I am a powerful being. a successful being. My wisdom and persistence bring success. In every task that I do. Successes when I feel content during that task, even before the outcome of that task. Every moment is successful where I am content. Content that I, the being, have received everything. I am a being of wisdom. A being of love. A peaceful being. A powerful being. And my eternal parent is always there to guide me and support me. Feel yourself to be a tiny point packed with power. This power energizes me, refreshes me, encourages me, motivates me. I am a powerful being of light. Om Shanti. Om Shanti. Does anyone have any questions?
Can you provide references to the articles that you talked about?
I
I
can. I don't have it written down, but I have it. It's you can see it on PubMed if you Google PubMed. and you will see one of the studies with 67 parts. There are several studies, and you would have to type PubMed and type self affirmations. You will see all the
Okay.
studies.
Do you know the journals? Do you remember the journals?
I have them written down. I couldn't
Okay.
memorize it, and so
All
that is
right.
why.
This is no problem. Thank you.
Not a problem.
No, I'm just wondering. I know you talked about the changes in the MRI that are seen,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm just wondering if they figured out what causes that change. I mean, are there new dendritic formations or parasympathetic overdrive versus sympathetic?
Mm-hmm.
I'm just curious about the process that brings about the change.
I can definitely. What's your name, sister?
Mira.
Mira. Okay. All right. So I can definitely get back to you with the exact study. So you
Sure.
can. Is they're very lengthy, and you can look into it. Yes.
All right. All right. I really appreciate that.
Yes.
Thank you. I
Thank
really
you.
enjoyed your the talk, and
Thank you.
I'm studying a little bit on neuroaesthetics and how the mind changes and things like that. So I'm just curious as to how this what is the mechanism, or is it known, or even at this point?
Mm. Yeah, the when I was reading the studies, a lot of it was still kind of not known, and they were looking into it, and that's why they're changing, looking for changes. But there is a few mention, like basically of the areas that they put in, that which areas are getting highlighted and which are the circuits that are getting highlighted also. But a lot of the studies did mention that they're still looking into more. They still don't know a lot. Yeah, and there are a lot theories also. There's like a there's an affirmation theory that the feelings about the self can change, are flexible. How we feel about ourselves 10 years ago, what we felt today is different. So that's also
Right.
theory. So I can get back to you.
Okay. Thank you so
You're
much.
welcome. Okay. Anyone else? Okay. Thank you. Om Shanti.
Thank you, Shanti, sister. Thank you, Shanti.
Shakti, thank
Om
you.
Shanti.
Om Shanti Nabhan. Thank you very much.
Om Shanti.
Thank you.